When you hear the name Pablo Escobar, what comes to your mind? Drugs? Power? Violence? Maybe you've seen a show or a movie about him. Maybe you've read about how he became rich and how he finally died on a rooftop. But here's a question we don't hear often. What happened after he died? What happened to his wife, his kids? What happened to all the money he hid? Did his cartels survive? Did his family pay the price for his crimes? In this video, we're not just talking about how Pablo Escobar lived or how he died. We're talking about what happened next, the part most people forget. So come with us on this journey back to Medellín, Colombia, and let's uncover what really happened after the world's most dangerous drug lord was gone. If you're curious like we are, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Narco Files, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story like this. Let's begin. What happened after Pablo Escobar did? When people talk about Pablo Escobar, they usually focus on how he rose to power, built a huge drug empire, and how he was finally killed. But there's something most people don't ask. What happened next? What happened to his wife who stood beside him for years? What about his son and daughter? What became of the Medellín Cartel without its leader? And most of all, what happened to the billions of dollars he left behind? These are the forgotten parts of the story. Because once Escobar was gone, the world moved on, but his family didn't have that choice. They had to run, hide, and survive in a world that hated the name Escobar. So let's go back to that day in 1993 when Pablo Escobar died, and take a deeper look at what happened after the world's most powerful and feared drug lord was finally brought down. The last day of Pablo Escobar. It was December 2, 1993. Pablo Escobar, once the most feared drug lord in the world, was now a man on the run. The Colombian government wanted him. Rival cartels wanted him dead. A secret group of killers called Los Pepes was also chasing him. Even some people from his own team had turned against him. Everyone was hunting him down. Escobar was hiding in Medellín, alone and desperate. That day was also his birthday. But there were no parties, no gifts, no family by his side. For the first time, he was spending it in fear. Still, he needed to hear the voice of someone he loved. So he made a call to his son. That one simple call was his biggest mistake. Police tracked the signal. In no time, soldiers surrounded the area. Pablo tried to escape across the rooftop with his loyal bodyguard, El Limon. But it was too late. Gunshots were fired. Escobar was hit and killed on that rooftop. The man who once ruled with power and fear was gone. Not in glory or honor, but running for his life. That's how the life of Pablo Escobar came to a brutal and lonely end. His wife and kids had to run. Maria Victoria Henao, Pablo Escobar's wife, was filled with sadness and guilt after his death. She believed that if he hadn't made that phone call to their son, maybe he would still be alive. After Escobar died, the Medellín Cartel had no leader. Some members thought Maria could take over since she had helped Pablo in the past, but Maria wanted nothing to do with that world anymore. She took her two children, Juan Pablo and Manuela, and ran. They tried to escape Colombia and start a new life far away. First they went to Mozambique. Then they tried Brazil and Germany, but every country refused to let them in. No one wanted to be connected to the Escobar name. At last, they were allowed into Argentina, but only as tourists. Maria just wanted to protect her children and live a quiet life far from the chaos her husband left behind, living and hiding in Argentina. When Maria and her children arrived in Argentina, they hoped to finally find peace. At first, no one knew who they were, but Maria's name had already been in the news for years. People still saw her as the wife of the world's most feared drug lord, Pablo Escobar. Maria knew they were not safe. She was afraid someone might want revenge on her or her kids. To protect them, she changed her name to Maria Isabel Santos Caballero. For a while, they lived quietly, trying to stay out of sight. But in 1999, their secret got out. The next year, both Maria and her son, Juan Pablo, were arrested. Authorities said they were hiding money from the cartel, but there was no solid proof. After some time in jail, they were let go. Maria stayed in hiding and later shared her story with the world in a book called Mrs. Escobar, My Life with Pablo, a son with a new identity. Pablo Escobar's son, Juan Pablo, didn't want to be linked to his father's dark past, so he changed his name to Sebastian Marroquin and started a new life. He wanted peace. He didn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. He even wrote a book to show the kind and caring side of Pablo, the man he knew as a dad, not the criminal the world feared. But escaping his past wasn't easy. Many people in Colombia believed Sebastian would one day take revenge for his father's death. Some thought he had access to Pablo's hidden money. Because of this, Sebastian became a target. He faced many dangers. In fact, he survived more than 9 kidnapping attempts. People chased him, not for who he was, but for who his father had been. Even after changing his name and starting fresh, Pablo Escobar's shadow continued to follow him everywhere. The lost fortune. Many people believed Pablo Escobar left behind billions of dollars when he died. Some even said it was more than $3 billion, 0 cents. There were rumors that his family knew where the money was and had access to it, but the truth was not that simple. Pablo couldn't trust banks, so he hid his money in strange places, inside furniture, behind walls, under the ground, and even inside floors. But over time, a lot of that money was lost. Some of it was destroyed by water, mold, or simply forgotten. When his family ran away from Colombia, they had to leave everything behind. They didn't take the houses, the businesses, or the cars. They escaped with just what they could carry. So while people dreamed of secret treasure, the family was just trying to survive. The money may have been real once, but most of it disappeared with Pablo's fall. The homes that turned into ruins. One of Pablo Escobar's well-known homes was the Monaco building in Medellín. It wasn't a huge fortress, it was just a 6-story house. But in 1988, a rival cartel bombed it. After Pablo's death, the Colombian government turned the building into a museum about his life and crimes. However, many people in Medellín didn't like it. For them, it was a painful reminder of the loved ones they lost because of Escobar's violence. Walking past it every day brought back bad memories. So in 2018, the government made a new choice. They tore down the Monaco building and built a memorial in its place. A space to remember the victims, not the criminal. In another one of his homes, a fancy house in Guatape called La Manuela, named after his daughter, was bombed before he died. It was badly damaged, and later treasure hunters searched it for hidden money. Over time, nature slowly took it back. The fall of La Catedral. La Catedral was not a normal prison. Pablo Escobar built it for himself, and it had things like a spa, casino, and even a football field. It felt more like a luxury hotel than a jail. After he died, people believed he had hidden money there. Many came to dig, hoping to find treasure buried in the ground or inside the walls. Over time, the place was left empty and forgotten. Later, a group of monks moved in. They turned it into a peaceful monastery and made it a quiet place to remember the people Escobar had hurt. The Medellín Cartel after Escobar. After Pablo Escobar died and his wife Maria said no to leading the cartel, everything started falling apart. The Medellín Cartel lost its power. Many of the top members were either killed or sent to jail. A few of them tried to stay safe by joining other cartels, like the Cali cartel. But the drug world didn't stop. It just changed. New groups stepped in and took control of the drug trade. Escobar's empire was gone, but the problems he left behind didn't go away. The business kept moving, just with different faces in charge. The strange legacy of Pablo Escobar. Before he died, Pablo Escobar helped the poor in Medellín by building schools, hospitals, and homes. Some saw him as a hero, But behind that image, he caused pain, ordering the deaths of thousands, including police, judges, and innocent people. Still, to some, he was a saint. To others, a monster. His life was full of mixed messages. He once burned $2 million 0 cents to keep his daughter warm, but also killed young girls for speaking out against his crimes. He was kind to his family, but cruel to many others. The world reacts. People still talk about Pablo Escobar, thanks to shows like Narcos that made him globally famous. But his son Sebastian says those shows make the violence look cool instead of showing how painful it really was. Pablo's death wasn't the end. His family lived in fear, hiding for years. His homes were destroyed as cartel collapsed, and most of his hidden fortune disappeared. In the end, his choices didn't just ruin lives around him, they also hurt the people he claimed to love the most. One last question. So now let's ask the big question. Can someone like Pablo Escobar ever really be forgiven? Do the schools he built and the poor people he helped erase all the pain he caused? Was he truly a hero to the poor or just a villain to a whole country? We'd love to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read them all. And if you enjoyed this deep look into the life after Pablo Escobar, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Narco Files. We share real stories that others don't, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.